Hello, podcast world. We are coming live to you from the IPIA here in Huntington Beach, 2024. I think it's November 12th. Is that right, Jeff?
It's November 12th.
November 12th, right. So we got a Tuesday here. So got a bit of an early morning start to the conference. I think the conference really doesn't, we've already had the board members. You're a board member, so you had a little bit going on last night, didn't you?
I did. Technically, board committee member. Just want to correct that. There are only a few board members. I'm
My bad.
One of the board committees. Won't claim that stolen valor. But yes, so we've started our convention activities. Right now, the suppliers are all setting up in the exhibit hall. People are kind of getting up and doing some training this morning with the PICS training and things like that are going on. But the actual exhibit hall doesn't open till tonight. We're looking forward to that as vendors here.
Well, sort of. We still got to put the booth together.
Yep.
So for our day job that actually pays the bills. So, but beautiful property here. So I know you've had an opportunity to come out. Being a part of the board, you were able to come out, weren't you, to take a look at it? How did that go?
Went really good. The board meets a couple times during the year, and then, right before the convention, they have a very brief meeting. And so we had that yesterday, and just kind of crossing some T's and dotting some I's and getting everybody on the same page and the messaging that's going out to the whole membership, and making sure that the leadership is all thinking about new people that are coming into the convention for the first time, and just having that awareness. This convention is actually going to have, I believe it's 100 new attendees for the first time in a long time.
Okay, great.
So a lot of new faces, not all of those are new companies. Some of them are new people with companies that have come for years, but there are quite a few new companies, new ICE companies that are going to be here. It's going to be great to meet some new folks and expand our network and get to know all kinds of people in the industry. Well,
and they have a new member get-together, right? Mm-hmm. So that's going to be early on. That's almost kind of kicking off the conference in a way, right?
Right. So at 1:45 today, they'll have what's called a new member.
We'll say appreciation.
Meeting and
a meet and greet. Yeah, kind of orientation, right?
Right. Kind of leading into the opening of the exhibit hall and kicking off. What's the convention-wide conference activities. So we'll be interviewing a few different key people that we've identified along the way, and then we're going to also invite some new folks just to sit down in the chair and let us ask them some questions about why they're here, how long they've been coming, all that kind of thing, just to capture a little bit of the feel of being here at the IPIA.
Yeah, we appreciate the opportunity and that the IPIA gave us. So we have a booth just sitting outside the main hall. So we've got that rocking and rolling, and looking forward to having some guests and having a special edition of BTI. So stick with us. We'll get started here in just a moment.
All right, so our first up, Bob, I'm so glad you got up this morning, bright and early to get interviewed.
Happy to do it.
Here at the IPIA. Want to introduce you to anyone who hasn't met you yet. So Bob Weller is from MMCI. Tell us a little bit about what you do at MMCI.
Yeah, at MMCI Automation, actually we're located in St. Louis, Missouri, and we are celebrating our 41st year in business. So the company started in 1983. I was actually their first employee. So I've been with the company for 36 years. And people are like, what, the same company?
Yeah, right.
So basically a sales engineer with MMCI. And what we are is a systems integration firm that does factory automation and distribution automation. So there's two components to our company. We're about 50 guys and then we're a FANUC robotics systems integrator.
Okay.
So,
how long you been with the ICE industry? So, or I guess tell us some of the other industries, but specifically, obviously, since we're here at the IPIA. So, how long you been?
Yeah, well, Ethan, we've been involved in the ICE business for just 3 years. Kind of a interesting start because ICE was never, it's something you buy at the convenience store. You don't really think about the industry.
Right.
And then Howard Mackey with Zippy Ice was doing some internet searching, and we pay for that to get our name up there. So he found us.
So SEO really works.
Oh, it works. Yeah, so we as a robotics integrator, we kind of market ourselves that way. So he was interested in robotics, and he just did a Google search, and we came up to the top, and he called us and said, "Have you guys ever done ice bags before?" And I'm like, "No, we haven't."
Right.
But interestingly, we have 3 people on our staff at MMCI who were involved in some of the initial designs of putting ice palletizers in the business. They had come over from another company. So they're like, "Oh, what are you talking about? We know what we're doing in the ice
Right.
business." So
That's pretty cool.
that got started, and that was 3 years ago visiting with Howard, and he said, "Hey, you guys should really get into our business. We need a little bit a fresher look." We are not ice, and that's the thing that's interesting about this show. I love the people here. I love the other vendors here. Everybody is so good, but we are really kind of outside the ice business.
Yeah.
We're systems integrators. We primarily focus on the food business.
Okay.
So we understand clean design. We understand sanitation requirements. We're fabricators ourselves. So we understand that ice is food component to this business.
So you can appreciate the push, and to ice is, food. So really, the staple of the IPIA, right?
Yeah,
So
Yeah, absolutely. Because the rest of our clients have food safety as their big concern. So we're very familiar with that. So this was really a good fit for us because being in the food business, ice is food. So that's kind of how we got started.
So the transition has been pretty smooth, you would say, coming into the ice industry with, having, all your background on the safety and the cleanliness. Everything was a fairly smooth transition, or how would you say that has went?
Yeah, very smooth because, again, we understand raw food product handling. We understand secondary packaging handling. A lot of our major clients, the Kraft Foods of the world, the major cheese brands of the world, all rely on MMCI to provide engineered solutions for them. So the fact that whenever I walk into an ice plant, I see stainless steel and things that we're familiar with. So this is such an easy fit for us to take our concepts, our design, our engineering expertise, and bring it into a different industry.
Yep.
Which we do all the time. A lot of things people are like, "Well, show me what you've done." I'm like, "Well, we haven't done that yet."
Right.
But we can design and engineer something to do that. So,
Sounds like you have a pretty good resume to lay out to them to make your case. So
yeah, and when I show people in this business some of the other things that we do, I mean, it's eye-opening.
Pretty
Some
impressive. Well, I think it's great anytime you can bring in a new angle, a new option to make, people around the industry kind of shake up how they're thinking about doing things. And the ice industry, I love them, but a lot of folks, if it's not broke, I don't want to fix it. I don't want to think about fixing it. But sometimes that could be what's holding them back, right? So
Yeah, and then we went after this business when Howard said, "Hey, I need to introduce you to the ice industry." Well, when I got to my first show in Las Vegas a couple years ago. I think I met you, Jeff, there. It was primarily to get introduced to everyone. And when you're kind of new to the organization, it takes a little time to get introduced and get your way around. But our company specifically wanted to go after this segment of the business. We focus on a lot of key industries. Cheese is a big thing for us, all kinds of different food products. So we felt like, hey, this is an industry that we could really just design a product. So we got back with our engineering team, and we actually designed and patented or trademarked a robotic palletizing cell specifically for the ice business called the Ice Pal. So we're committed to this business that we went out and actually designed and branded our own robotics palletizing system specifically for this business.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, every time I step into an ice plant and I look at the automation and the things that you do, just being able to I mean, because it's a part of it. Not only do you want to be clean, but that's a way that you stay clean, right? Because every time you
Right.
introduce a human or any kind of organic material, things can kind of get out of whack. So let the robots do what they need to do, and they do it well. And I think they tend not to complain. Now, maybe as we're getting into AI, that may change, So, but do you guys delve into any AI in y'all's business?
We're an engineering company, so right outside of my office is like the engineering cube farm.
Right.
And just to listen to these guys talk all the time about AI and all the things, and we program, right? So we do electrical controls as well as robotics programming. So they're always on the look for what's the best way to do things. But interestingly enough, I think AI has been a little oversold right now. It's a little early in the process.
We agree. Jeff and I talked about that.
Yeah.
It's almost like a buzzword that you
Yeah, it is.
you have to throw out there, or somebody doesn't think you're cool. So.
Yeah, and it hasn't been implemented as much as I thought it would be at this point. I think that industry is growing, and there'll be enhancements to it that we'll be able to utilize. But right now, our engineers are kind of like shrugging their shoulders, like, okay, yeah, I'm going to get it to maybe help me do a few things, but to do custom software and things like that, it's hasn't quite, I guess, evolved to the point where we can really use it effectively yet. So
yeah, we've been dipping our toes into it, particularly from our developers and things like that, to try to improve some of the things that they're doing. So, but we appreciate it. So, with our podcast here, we do like to talk shop, but we also like to learn a little bit about you. You got a family, kids?
Yes, I do. My wife is here, and that's the other thing I love about this ice industry shows is it's very couple friendly. So we've met so many people these last 3 years, and my wife is here, Vicki. We are the proud parents of 3 adult children. I've been on kind of a grandchildren express here the last couple of weeks. I got a new grandchild in Austin, Texas. He's just 4 weeks old, so I was down there for a week and then flew from Austin to Colorado to visit my other son, daughter-in-law, and grandson. So flew from Denver to here. So yes, I've got 2 grandkids and 2 sons and a daughter.
Okay, fantastic. My family's starting to grow, so this is the first time I get to announce my oldest just got engaged this past weekend.
Oh, congratulations!
So she's in college, still has a ways to go, but marrying or engaged to a pretty good dude. So, but no, great. Like I said, we like to try to find a little bit. So I wish Vicki would have joined us this morning if she's milling around. So.
Yeah, she says, "Well, I'm not sure what I have to offer this morning."
She could have brought up the
Jeff
beauty
and I,
aspect of the podcast. For
Jeff
sure.
and I ask our that same question of ourselves all the time. Don't we, Jeff?
I tell you, she is really enjoys coming to these events with me, and that's the great part is that we are building friends over these last 3 years, and oh my goodness, she knows the majority of the ladies here, and
I think she knows a lot of the guys.
It's so welcoming.
Able to interact with everyone, and I think that's a huge thing. So do you guys have anything planned as far as while you're here in Huntington Beach that you want to do outside of the regular schedule?
Yeah, I mean, looking out the window, it's hard to be indoors when you got such a beautiful scenery.
Right.
But we did plan that. Being from St. Louis, we don't get to the oceans very often, but it's usually once or twice a year. And after the show, we're going to stay here for another 4 days and just explore the area.
Nice.
So I understand there's a place called Dana Point, which is on the ocean. And my son and daughter-in-law, grandson from Denver, came here last summer to vacation. They said, "Oh, Dad, you got to go to Dana Point."
Okay.
It's like $40-50 million homes on these cliffs, and it's right over the ocean. And so we're going to do that. We're just going to tour around Southern California.
Do a little shopping.
Yeah, of course.
Pick up a couple of houses over there.
Yeah, the problem is we have a weight limit on our luggage, and we are just so maxed out. We've been on the road the last 2 weeks, so we have had to pack for an 8-inch snowstorm in Denver this week.
Oh, gracious.
So I've got winter coats in my suitcase, and then coming here to some warmer weather.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's funny. I felt like we were coming to cooler weather because, highs in the mid 60s and lows in the upper around mid 50s. So I was like, daggum, we're going to be cold.
It was cracking me up. Last night we went out to dinner and it was outdoors on upstairs of a restaurant, and several of the ladies were like, "Oh, I need a jacket." I was like, "This is beautiful."
No,
right?
it's great weather. But the last time the conference was here, several me and other guys with the industry, we went out and surfed.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and it was cold then, but it was warm. Just the ambient temperature, but getting in that water is always cool.
I went and dipped my toes in yesterday, and wow.
What was the first thing? I saw a couple of those guys yesterday, and they were like, "Hey, we're going." No. Are you sure? No. Well, I don't know.
Are they going to go again?
Oh,
Really?
They're going to go. I think I'll put. We got Reese here. I'll have him go in my stead.
Volunteering
So,
for.
Well, the guys I've seen surfing are wearing wetsuits for a reason.
Yes.
Because
And I wore. Yeah. Not my. I mean, I love surfing, but and I even do cold plunges and things, but. Just being immersed in no, thank you. I've been there, done that.
It's not Gulf Shores, Alabama, is it?
It is not, not at all. So, and I was literally there a couple of days ago. So, but we really appreciate you, Bob, for joining us and everything. So we wish you the best of luck in this industry.
Yeah.
And so fantastic.
Yeah, the other thing
Thank
I want to say about
please.
Jeff is when we met in Las Vegas, he's like, "Hey, you're meeting some people here, but the real people that you can spend more time with are at the regional shows."
Yeah.
So it was Jeff that actually encouraged me to participate in the regional shows, and
I don't even remember.
you don't remember that conversation, but you said, "Hey, you can meet the best people, you can have more time, you can talk longer, there's fewer people there," and so you did encourage me to go to the regionals, and short of missing this one at the Northeast because my grandson was born, we've been to every regional over the last couple of years. So
Oh, fantastic.
it's been a place to your point, to really gain new business opportunities and to meet more friends and to really get that time to talk to somebody in more detail. So
Right.
appreciate that because
Absolutely.
the regionals are really a great place to formulate business and friendship.
And for everyone who's watching, if you don't know, next year in 2025, the regionals, for the most part, are going to be all meeting at the IPIA
grand
convention
event.
instead of, or in lieu of, having their regional meetings. So you are all invited to come to Nashville in 2025 and join in the big show and meet everyone here from across the country and really around the world.
Yeah, get planning now. So, definitely plan to join us. So, and hopefully our podcast doesn't suck, and we'll do this again next year. So, we appreciate you very
Yeah,
much.
thanks, Bob.
Thank you guys. Have a great show.
All right, thank you. We're still here at the IPIA, so we're looking forward to interviewing a lot of people. We got our next person, so Tony Lundell. So you're with IIAR. I'm going to let you explain. So it's my first introduction to you, but tell us about your company and what you guys do.
Sure. We're IIAR, the International Institute of All Natural Refrigeration. Historically, in 1972, it started out as the International Institute of Ammonia Refrigeration because we strictly were totally into ammonia, anhydrous ammonia as a refrigerant. And they decided, the name is so embedded out there, IIR, they decided to want to keep it, but we've expanded to CO2, and we're also writing standards for hydrocarbons, which I can explain in a minute. So we're not just ammonia only now, but they're natural refrigerants. So we're the International Institute of All Natural Refrigeration.
Okay.
So we're still IIAR. So that worked out really good. And anhydrous ammonia is a popular refrigerant used in very large organizations, especially a lot in the food industry, the Oscar Mayers, the Sara Lee's, juice industries, the Tropicanas of the world. So we use a lot of refrigerant, and it's very efficient. And it's got zero global warming potential and zero ozone depleting potential.
Okay.
So it's the best of the best for 0 and 0. And then we have CO2, which is carbon dioxide, which is higher pressure, but you still make a safe system. And it has a GWP of 1, and zero ozone depleting potential. So whenever you compare GWP, you compare it to CO2 because you can't compare it to ammonia, which is zero. You get zero. So that's where it comes up with, why am I comparing this to a GWP of 1? Because you got to have a 1, so it works out. And then we're writing a standard for hydrocarbon refrigerants that are natural. And these refrigerants are flammable, but we can make them safe. And the flammable refrigerants we're dealing with right now in the standard that's out for public review right now as we speak is propane, butane, and isobutane. If you probably hear about, it's like ammonia's NH3 or R717, CO2 is R744, CO2 or carbon dioxide. And then the hydrocarbon refrigerants, propane is R290, and butane is R600. You have isobutane as R600A, and then if you want just a regular butane, it's like R600. But these are natural refrigerants with they're zero ozone depleting and extremely very low GWP. And we want to have these refrigerants that are very efficient and very inexpensive compared to other synthetic refrigerants that are being used out there, that if they leak, they could affect the ozone or the global warming potential. So we're very excited about it. So that's how we became and how we've grown into the IIAR.
Okay.
Well, that explanation, I feel like I've gotten smarter, and I only understood half of what he said, and maybe that's being generous.
I was going to say the other activities that are going on right now, there's a PICS training course, there's other educational things, and I was not expecting our podcast to be like that high level this morning.
That's right. It's a little early for that. So,
Yeah.
No, we appreciate it. Go ahead, Jeff.
So I guess as a guy who doesn't really know the ins and outs that much, we do software, so we're not icemen.
Okay.
When you come to the show, is your refrigerants mainly for in the plant or the merchandisers that they're using?
Mostly, we've grown over the years, it's industrial facilities for large manufacturers of products.
Okay.
And as I mentioned earlier, you have the Oscar Mayers, the Sara Lees, the Tropicanas, the juice companies, anything that they need to refrigerate a product. Any ice cream facility, cold storage warehousing facilities. You've heard of probably Lineage or Americold Logistics. They all use this type of refrigerant as anhydrous ammonia. And then the carbon dioxide's become popular. It's a higher pressure, but you can make it work safe. And if I go back to ammonia, it's a regulated substance as a chemical. So PSM under OSHA or RMP under EPA regulates a chemical, so you have to meet these requirements. So ammonia, although they claim it's a toxic refrigerant, you can make it work safe, and you can make it easy to make it run and operate safely, and it's so efficient. And the cost of getting these refrigerants natural are so much cheaper than synthetic refrigerant. So there's quite an advantage. So if I say ammonia, okay, you could call it a toxic refrigerant. You can make it work safe. CO2 is a higher pressure refrigerant. You can still make it work safe. And the hydrocarbons refrigerants that we're coming up with it's out for public review now is flammable, but you can make them work safe. And so this whole thing is we can make these systems work. So we write the standards for natural refrigerants, and they go through an ANSI process, American National Standards Institute process, and they make sure that they meet the requirements for fairness, essential requirements for ANSI itself, openness, no domination, and it's a total consensus agreement when these standards are developed. And they go through 1, 2, 3, whatever it takes of public reviews, and then we develop a standard and it's published. Okay. After that, the authorities have a jurisdiction, and the model codes adopt them, such as the building codes, the IFC, the UMC, and all these other names for fire codes. And then they go out and enforce them to say, in order to use this refrigerant, you need to do this because this makes it safe to use. And that's why. So we're really behind the safety of these natural refrigerants.
Gotcha.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but kind of what I was hearing is, I mean, we've got all these products that have been out there, but you guys are developing ways to be able to make them safe. So
yes.
It's kind of behind the science as far as you're trying to figure out how to make them safe. And one of my main questions, and you kind of hit on it, I was hoping you'd expound on it a little bit more, is about the efficiency, because I've always heard about some of the new refrigerants. Yes, it's safer for our environment, but the efficiency, it's not as efficient to produce the cold that you need.
Yes. Definitely.
But I'd love to hear your explanation on the efficiency side of it, because to me that sounds like a win-win-win all the way around.
Yeah. Well, it is a transfer of heat. typically referred to as a BTU, a British thermal unit. And if you say, well, what is that? If you took a farmer's match, wood match, lit it, and let it burn till it went out, that's about 1 BTU.
Okay.
So with that in mind, these natural refrigerants can transfer so many BTUs at a lot lower cost. They're so efficient compared to the synthetic refrigerants. And because of the viscosity of the refrigerants and some of the synthetic refrigerants, if they leak a little and they try to refill it, it turns into a glide issue, so they act chemically different. But these natural refrigerants don't do that. So they are very efficient. You can transfer so much more heat with anhydrous ammonia, CO2, or even if you think of propane or isobutane, like a Bic lighter. Or if you go out to your barbecue or when you're cooking, we're not going to cook with it, but it's in a closed circuit. So these natural refrigerants are all in a closed circuit.
Okay.
And then they have detection, and they have methods to control if there were a leak, it would shut down and work it safely.
Right.
And by getting these standards to meet those requirements, it just makes it so much better for the future that we don't have to damage the ozone, don't have to damage the environment, don't have to cause global warming, and you got a cheaper refrigerant because many manufacturers can make ammonia, many manufacturers can make CO2, many manufacturers can make propane, butane, and isobutane. So rather than have one company that maybe has a patent on a refrigerant that wants to maybe charge you as excess of maybe 6 to 8 times more for that refrigerant, and it's not as efficient, it just makes more sense to go natural and make it very competitive and make all these companies manufacture it for us and make it readily available whenever we want.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, I like it. So this is your first time here at the IPIA?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've spoken at different webinars, and I've created several webinars, but I've spoke live at like the Atmosphere group. I've spoke at the RETA conferences, Refrigeration Engineering Technicians Association, and historically before that I did speak at some of the IR events before I became an IR employee.
And right before we started doing this recording, he was singing to us. So he busted out in song right before. So for our test, so
A man of many
moonlights.
skills.
Yeah, that's right.
Definitely.
That's right. So as far as what do you enjoy when you're not talking about refrigerants? So.
I am a musician.
Okay, there you go. All right.
I do guitar,
Okay.
6-string, 12-string, acoustic, electric. I've got a double neck 612. I've got a triple neck lead guitar, 6/7, 12-string guitar.
Are we still talking about refrigerants? I'm
And
not
then-
sure what he's talking about here.
And then I'll play drums, keyboards. The only wind instrument I do is harmonica, and it's rare. But guitar is my favorite.
Okay.
And I get in it. And then I'll paint pictures of different, I call it surrealistic, meaning it's like paradise, waters, palm tree. There's no man-made items in there.
Okay.
And I'll occasionally get a picture or two painted a year.
Okay.
And get them out. So art, music is on the side.
Yeah. Very cool. Very good. Very good. Well, we appreciate you joining us. I don't know. Do you have any other questions?
No, it was good to meet you, Tony, and I'm glad you just stepped right up and volunteered to.
Sure.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
share
We'll put a
with
link.
us.
We'll put a link to y'all's organization, everything on our podcast. So
Yeah.
we appreciate you joining
Oh
us.
yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, we love natural refrigeration.
Yeah. Hey, the passion definitely exudes from you. That's for sure. So
Oh
we
yeah.
can- we
Now
can
let's
see
sing
that,
about
so.
it. No. I'll write a song
appreciate
someday
it.
about refrigeration.
That's right. That's right. Well, we'll see if we can throw it on our podcast, and we'll see how many likes we get.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Sounds good.
anyway, thank you for joining
Thank you very
us.
much.
All right,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
So next up, we have Melissa and Maria, and they represent the IPIA. We're so glad to sit down with you two, and we want to give you just a second to kind of introduce yourself. I know that folks who've been watching our podcast have already seen Maria do a full
That's
interview, but for anyone who missed that episode, Maria, would you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, this is Maria Maggio, the Executive Director here at IPIA, and I'm very excited to be here with you today on BTI. I had a great time when
We did
we
too.
did the interview earlier this year. If you haven't seen the interview or any of the other podcasts that BTI does, please make sure you check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Melissa, next up.
Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Convery, the Assistant Director here at IPIA. I'm super excited to be here. I've watched all your podcasts, I'm a big fan. So, as for people who may have seen Maria's podcast, she's kind of the head honcho in charge here at our office. I'm more of the behind the scenes person. You can find me doing a lot of our marketing, social media, membership stuff, so.
And much more. Much more.
I can already tell the experience because she's looking at the camera every now and then, which I've got to get better and say, "Hey, camera," that you're there instead of just looking through the camera to you guys. So, but that's great. We really appreciate you guys joining us. We know that y'all are extremely busy of trying to get all this pulled together. I think we talked to you a little bit about, the chaos that it is of what you guys put together. Do you find a lull point, or is it just complete chaos and you guys are just like, hey, we're just going to come over, we're going to appease these BTI guys and we're going to join the podcast, but really your hair's on fire right now. Where do you guys find yourself right now?
So for me personally, I'm pretty calm right now. It's more the weeks leading up to the convention. That's the crazy chaos, hair on fire feeling. Right. Once we get here and we kind of get settled in, I'm pretty calm at this point. Things just kind of roll along. Karen and her team really are the ones that probably have their hair on fire more so than anyone, running down and executing all the convention details. For me, it's more, there is a busyness here, of course, because of all the members that are here, and I want to make sure I visit with as many of them as I can. Yeah. There doesn't ever seem to be enough time to do that.
Right.
But it's more of a busy just from a perspective of visiting with people and getting to know our members and exhibitors and everyone here at the show. But it's a good busy, and I really enjoy being here.
Do you concur, Melissa?
I concur. No, it's super important for us to talk to everybody here, and we don't always quite make it to that goal, but we try, certainly, and we've got a great team here. We're not IPIA and the meeting company, Suncoast Meetings. We're all one team, and we kind of jump in where needed, and we've got a little bit of a lull right now before the convention officially kicks off tonight.
Right.
But once we get started, it's busy, but it's a fun busy. It's nice to stay engaged and get going. We're excited about it.
Melissa is the sneaky behind the scenes person that when we're in the meetings, it's constantly like, okay, we came up with this thing and we developed this thing. Well, really, it was Melissa. and we started this new initiative, and Melissa's going to do the work on that. And she doesn't get enough appreciation, I think.
She's amazing.
Thank you.
Like, we are truly a team.
I think the reason for that, a lot of it, is because somebody's saying something, and as they're talking, I'm immediately doing it on Google or finding the information.
She is the research girl like you've never seen before. We will literally be like, I wonder.
I'm like,
she's got the answer.
Yeah, I kind of jump on it before anyone else can. But
we said that we try to model, the podcast. I'm a big Joe Rogan fan, and he's got Jamie in the background that, as soon as something happened, apparently he's a master at Googling with one hand, and he can get it up on the screen and everything real quick. So you must be the Jamie. We need you to come to our side. So.
Yes, that would be our Melissa.
I can be the Jamie.
Well, go ahead, Joe.
So with this being in California, have you guys got any extra plans before or after the convention that you're able to do while you're here? Any extracurricular things you're looking forward to?
No, not really, to be honest. I did arrive early. Karen and I and some of the team had a meeting with the hotel, so I did get here early. So over the weekend, I did spend some time outdoors in the sun and went for a little drive, and it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous during the day. It's a little chilly right now at night.
It is chilly. We were talking about that.
It is nice during the day. So I had a little downtime at the beginning, but once it's over, you're just pure exhausted. So you just want to get home and sleep all weekend, basically. Rest.
For real.
Well, like your reset time before you've got another event, because obviously you just don't do this all the time. So what's y'all's next event? What are you guys going to be working on?
So the next event I'll be attending will be the Southwestern Ice Association, their regional convention in February. But we together will be attending a trade show in April. Okay. I don't remember offhand. I believe it's the Impact one.
Impact, yes.
In Indianapolis. That we will actually be exhibiting at. IPIA will be exhibiting there. So Melissa and I will be working a booth at a trade show in April together.
So we've heard your story. Melissa, on your side, are you full IPIA or, okay, So you're full time,
I am
always
full
on this
IPA.
side. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just kind of curious about that, with Suncoast. So
Yeah.
In the going to the other trade shows for on representing the IPIA, that's kind of a newer development, right? Like only this past year or
It
so
is.
you guys have started. And how's that going?
It's going great. So, our members have really spoken and said that it's important to them that we get in front of retailers as much as possible to get our message of ice is food out there, safe ice, purchasing quality ice from our members. So part of that, in the past, we had done more ad campaigns and things like that. We thought it would be good to kind of switch gears a little bit and start attending the retailer-focused trade shows. And we did 2 this past year. They were successful. We made some great connections, and we're looking forward to doing some more. The ones that we had done this past year were more in the southern region of the United States. We're trying to branch out to more like the Midwest, a little bit in the north, and in the Southwest regions. So it's going great. We've got a nice booth set up, and we try and network and get the message out there as much as we can.
And what's really exciting for us this year is we'll be rolling out our new logo. So
Yeah.
at our trade show, we'll have our new logo rolled out and
Cool.
Yeah.
all new, marketing materials
New
and
swag.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun to.
the propaganda is flowing, right?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
be announcing it here at the convention.
That's what
We'll
I
be
was going to
showing it
ask.
to
So it
everyone.
is going to be revealed here. So by the time folks are watching it, it will be public,
Yes.
and we could probably
Maybe.
display a little
Yes.
bit here,
Possibly.
and Santiago put it on the screen as we're talking.
No, that'd be great. So Jeff had mentioned that numbers are up for the conference this year, so that's great to hear. Is there anything that you guys have done differently, or is it just economy, or what do you think is responsible for the growth this year?
I think it's a combination of those things, but honestly, I feel like in the last few years, our trade shows are just becoming we're getting more regulars. So I think that people, once they come, they want to come back. And then we have a lot of new first-time attendees coming, which has been really amazing. We have 80 or 90 first-timers here this week. So I don't know what's drawing them. I would like to think that it's part of our marketing and promotion. Melissa does an excellent job, and she can speak to that. BTI, you guys help us, obviously, and we thank you for that. So I think it's a combination of our marketing efforts. We are certainly doing more of that and more social media. We're also doing direct mail pieces. We have the membership committee who makes phone calls. Jeff, you're part of that committee. Thank you. Thank you. You've actually helped. I think it's all of those things. And it's a great destination. You're in sunny Southern California.
Doesn't hurt,
Right?
Absolutely.
No, and I know with the obviously we just went through an election, and we're not going to get political. But I know what was brought up about that was, legacy media and the transition of, doing podcasts and how you get your messaging out, whether it's through, we're such in a microwave society that you got to get your message across in, 3 to 5 seconds. If you don't grab that attention that quickly, or, fully get your message out in 3 to 5 seconds. So, trying to do more of those quick hitters or doing a logo upgrade, it may sound frivolous in some ways, but it does mean something. The impact of what you can present visually very quickly does make an impact to people. That's the reason people spend tons of money into doing
Absolutely.
those things. So, but yeah, I definitely see that transition. So we've already talked a little bit about what you're planning on doing. Did you mention some of the things you're going to be doing?
Well, so our convention week, so yesterday was my birthday.
Oh, happy
And
birthday.
Today is my son's birthday.
Okay.
And
Oh,
so
wow.
usually it falls during our convention week, and he's always very upset that I have to leave.
Right.
But I'm hurrying back to him at the end of this, so we can have a birthday party for him, and I'm going to have
And he's
several.
how old?
He's 11 today.
And what's his name?
Evan.
Evan, happy birthday to you.
Happy
Yes,
birthday,
happy birthday, Evan.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We're all
So
thinking about you today, Evan.
That's right. That's
I'm
right.
heading home, and I'm going to have a house full of preteen boys for a sleepover.
Right, that's right.
That
That's right.
sounds like the perfect
It's
way to unwind.
How are
so
you going to fit
relaxing.
that giant surfboard you bought him though in your luggage? Yeah, I'm
Come
just
on
not sure.
now.
Speaking of, are you surfing this year?
I am not. We talked about that, and the first thing I saw David Klingman. He's like, "Hey, you no." I'm like, absolutely not. No, not this year. So
He's going to try and volunteer Reese. And
yeah, we
see
got
Oh, yeah.
Reese in the behind the scenes here helping us with the podcast and with the show. But
Well, I think
thought-
the ocean's cold
Yeah.
enough. You could go for a little cold plunge out
Yeah.
there.
I could go in the cold plunge. So I continue to try to step up my game back home. So we'll talk about that. We won't bore all the,
Yes.
the listeners for that. So still trying to get you your own in-house
Yes,
cold plunge. So
I know.
we'll keep working on
Yes,
that.
we will.
Melissa, you ever cold plunged?
I don't have the inner strength to withstand that, but I
you
give her
need-
major props for doing it.
You just need a few people around you to push you down. So yeah.
Yeah, you
Then you don't
know.
have a choice, right?
That's right. Exactly.
What are you trying to tell me?
You'll be voluntold. So, but yeah, is there anything? I know, as we, it's crazy to think that. Not to say that y'all are in wind down mode for this conference, but really all the planning, everything. Really, I mean, you're at the end of this conference, so planning cycle, everything. I know you guys have already had to start thinking about the grand event next year. We're promoting that as well, and along with the regional shows. How far advanced are you really looking into the future? Are y'all looking at 3 more years in the future? Is it 2 years in the future? How far do you plan? I'm not saying give away any secrets, but as far as where the conferences are going to be going, but what is your planning
Cycle.
schedule?
Timeline.
Usually it's 2 or 3 years out is when we will secure the hotel for example, in 2026, we already have that secured. We'll be going to the JW Marriott in Tampa. So we
Well,
do not
you
have
heard it
20.
here first, folks.
Yes, in
Okay,
Tampa.
JW, okay, yeah,
We're very
so
excited.
do we
to
have the
bring
dates
people
on
to
that?
Tampa Bay. We do. November, it's like a week later. I'll have to get back to you.
It's like the week of the
November.
17th. or
Yeah, it's a little
In
bit later than
Tampa.
this week. Yeah,
Okay.
All right.
mid-November.
Getting-
So we're really
bumping up
excited to come
close
to
to
Tampa.
Thanksgiving, yeah.
That's where our headquarters is
Oh.
located, right, for IPIA. So generally
Wait, so
what
are
we'll
we
start.
doing, instead of an ice plant tour, we'll tour your facility there at the office?
We thought about that, but it's pretty
Do you
small.
really think about that?
I think what we might do is have board and committee members come visit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But I think it would be complicated to do.
I was
And it's
just
not that
kidding.
exciting.
It's really not.
It's an
We
office.
love it. We love it.
Maria
call
gets really excited about showing off
I
her
do.
storage room. So
I do.
that's the highlight of the tour.
Is that where your office is at? Is that where they put?
No. We have a beautiful office. We do. We love it. We actually back up to a conservation land with a
Oh, wow.
pond, and so we have beautiful view. We do love it. We call it Home Sweet Office.
Okay, well, get
Instead
us
of
a
Home Sweet
picture and
Home.
we'll put it up
We'll
on there.
do that. We'll do that.
Back
I
porch.
totally interrupted you. Go
No,
back-
that's
go
good.
back to
It's
what you
good.
were saying.
So we actually will be visiting the Ready Ice plant in Plant City, which is about
Okay.
30, 45 minutes away from where we're going to be, just to close the loop on that. But
Yeah.
so we'll start looking at 2027 in January, February,
Okay.
March of this coming year. We'll start thinking about where do we want to start considering for 2027. So that, and we will immediately when this is over, we're going to start working on the schedule for the grand
Yeah.
event, the budget for the grand event, all those things. It never really stops.
Right.
Of course, we'll have a board meeting in the spring coming up that we'll have to plan for as well. And Karen also assists us with the logistics for planning those. We would love to think that December would be kind of a quiet, more calm month for us, but actually it's a quite busy month for Melissa and I because we're gearing up for the audit season and trying to get a lot of details worked out for the upcoming audit season for our members. And we're working on things like the membership directory and getting a lot of information out before the new year or within the new year. So it's actually a busy time for us in December. We always want to leave this convention and be, and we did that for a few days. Don't get me wrong. We do rest a little bit, but then we kick it right back into gear. I think that sometimes people will say, when is your downtime? Our downtime, actually, our time to catch up on projects and get things done that we've had to put off is the summer.
Yeah.
Because our members are so busy. So
Similar
the
for
phones
us.
and the emails are quiet, and so that's really where we put off some projects and tasks until then when we know we're actually going to have some quiet time. So.
Yeah, makes sense.
So you touched on one of the topics that I think a lot of the membership may not realize that you guys do is kind of managing and coaching people through the audit process and making sure all the documentation and everything is where it needs to be for everyone to be accredited.
Yes.
Do you want to speak about that at all? Do you want to?
Sure. Yeah. So I do take great pride in that. I feel like that's something that we've really stepped up in recent years as far as the mentorships go. So I'm a mentor to any applicant, and then we also assign an industry member. That way, I've never ran an ice plant myself, right? So I obviously know our PICS program very well, and I understand our audits very well. I've learned a lot about food safety over the years since I've been here. But I've never ran a plant. So we also have a mentor who is doing what they do that they can talk to. And between the two of us, we just really try to guide them through that process. It's very overwhelming. Like you said, it's a lot of documentation. So some people get our audit information, our audit guide, and they're like, whoa, I don't even know where to start.
Right.
So one of the things we're also doing is coming up with kind of what we would call a playbook, I guess, of, okay, I want to become accredited. I don't even know where to start. We're going to kind of walk you through that and say, okay, first, let's take care of some low-hanging fruit first. Get this done, get this done. Okay, next, let's work on your HACCP plan. Next, we're trying to really help walk them through it so that we don't have members or potential members that come along and say, I really want to do it, but I don't know how. I don't know where to start. It's too overwhelming. So we're really trying to be a better resource for them. And Melissa's done an amazing job on our website. We have a member portal with a ton of resources and information and templates and articles and all kinds of things that helps as well. So we're going to be building an applicant portal that will be for applicants who are not quite members yet, that will serve the same purpose and have a lot of that documentation at their fingertips.
Yeah, you give new members an opportunity to, like you said, the low-hanging fruit, or I think about if you buy a new electronic, you have the thick manual, but then you got the quick start guide.
Yes,
kinda
I
get you
love that
started.
way
So
to say it.
Yeah, you can get it. You can get a value out of it, and realize that. And once you're indoctrinated into the IPIA, so you can never leave.
That's right.
It's like the mafia, the ice mafia. But we appreciate you guys joining us. We know that y'all are busy. Y'all need to get back to your bill-paying job.
Yeah.
So
Thank
not
you
just
so
being
much
guests
for
with
taking
us,
the
so.
time.
Thank you
Of
for
course.
having us.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
It's a pleasure.
All right, bye.
See you.
So we're sitting here, got our next guest. So Jarrod, thank you for joining us. So a former podcastee, right?
Interviewer,
So,
interviewee.
interviewer,
All
a little
of
bit of
the above.
everything. So I have a question for you. So is this year a little bit easier for you?
This year is so much smoother. Like last year as chairman, like it was being on top of everything, being at every meeting, having the script, always thinking about what's happening next and where you have to be, and never sitting down.
Yeah.
And so this year it's just kick back and relax.
You look younger. They say presidents age like at a multiple of 8, so it looks like you've stopped the aging process and you're pulling back. So.
Well, thanks. So it was nice to get in Sunday and just have a quiet afternoon. Monday we had an EC meeting, my last one. We had a board meeting, we had committee meetings, and it's just been really low key. Like I don't have to lead the meetings. I can just
Right.
kind of sit there and be present.
Yeah.
Do you miss it at all?
I always love being involved in things I'm passionate about, and I love the ice industry. So yeah, I might miss it a little bit, but it's kind of nice being on the other side, not having the level that we were going at.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's just the spotlight, right? The
Yeah.
spotlight, adds all this pressure, I guess perceived pressure, but
Oh, there's definitely pressure because you don't want to screw anything up. You don't want to be
Right.
the guy up there stuttering and going through and shuffling papers and not knowing what you're doing.
well, you always made it look easy. You
Well,
always
thank you.
made it look like you were just hanging out and professional, but having a good time.
Well, and when you're genuine, it's easy. It's a lot easier if you're not putting on. And I mean, I've never been around you a day that I have been that you seem like you're putting on. You are who you are, and you're comfortable in your own skin. And I hope I present that way as well. But who knows?
And I grew up in this industry, so it's easy to sit and talk with friends. It's easy to stand up there and just talk with people that you know and care about and enjoy being around. It's not like you're up there with a bunch of strangers. You're just talking to your peers, and I find that easy to get up there and do.
Did you ever use that methodology of just envisioning everybody naked? Because when you do that, I'm like, I don't want this.
That really changes the whole dynamic, so no.
No.
I don't like them that much.
Right. Did Corey come with you?
She did not.
Oh, what?
With 4 kids that are homeschooled, and she's the teacher, and then they do 2 different school co-ops that she also teaches in. And with each of them involved in multiple sports and multiple youth groups at multiple churches, it kind of shuts the whole ship down if both of us are gone.
That's right. Well, I hate that I won't see her this year.
Yep.
Yeah, she's a little disappointed that she's not in sunny California, but what can you do?
Corey, when you're watching this, he's, I don't think he's been on the beach, but anyway, have you been on the beach yet?
No, I have not been on the beach, and there's been no surfing this year, so
This is
chilly for
the
that.
third time it's been brought up. I saw David Klingman last night, and the first thing he said, so we're going surfing, and he didn't even finish it. I was like, no.
It's a little cold to want to get out in the water and do that.
Yeah, well, and getting out of the water, like last year, you could get out of the water and actually feel like you were warming up, or
Yeah.
not last year. How many years was that?
2017 for the 100th convention.
Okay, so 2017. But we would get out and you actually warm up, but with the temperature right now, I mean, you're just as cold or worse. So
Yeah,
Breeze.
I don't think we want to do that.
no, not at all. Not at all.
So anything new this year at the convention that's that you're looking forward to? Anything out of the ordinary? or-
I'm looking forward to actually getting to enjoy a convention.
Yeah.
Because I'm not working.
Yeah.
Working for my company now, not working for the IPIA. I feel like the last 2 years, I got on the floor, but it was talking to people and making sure that everybody else was being supported and where they needed to be. So I'm actually excited to get back and see equipment and how it relates to my company.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the JMC bagger that they've got here, something new, something innovative. Talk to the guys at Turbo Products because I've got another ice maker coming. So just some of those things, get to reconnect with some people and talk with people about supply issues and some parts and other things.
How many years straight have you been coming to this?
I started coming to conventions in 2004, and I think I missed one in
Okay.
2010.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm pretty much here.
So
Yeah.
about 20 years.
Yeah, fantastic.
So when you come, do you normally have kind of a working list of like, here are some things, some questions I want to solve while I'm here, some connections I want to make?
There's a working list of, I need to see this person about these parts, and this person about lead time on this, and this person about this, and yeah, there's a list of things to talk about with people.
Well, we had talked about that. It's a banner year for newcomers this year. Maria and Melissa were mentioning around 80, 90 new. New attendees this year. So the new member orientation that's going to be here in a few hours should be a packed house.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of returning companies, but Arctic Glacier's brought a bunch of new people that have never
okay.
been here before. So they're not necessarily new companies. Some are, but it's a lot of new people with that company. So that's exciting to have some new faces and get them involved and see what we do here. There's a lot of internationals here as well. From all over the world have shown up. I forget the number of countries, like 10 different countries, I think.
Okay.
So just got a lot of great people and a great turnout.
Yeah.
Well, you got to have infusion of new people because obviously some people are going to be retiring out of the industry. You want to get some people in. Different perspectives is always nice. So
Absolutely.
The ice industry, we don't want to get stuck in the mud. So I want to keep moving forward.
I think it's great for the suppliers too to see different faces.
Yep.
I know there's one or two people here from Arctic Glacier that I know through email only. Like I've never talked with them, I've never seen a face, it's just emailing about certain things. So it's nice to put a face and a name and have that connection to some people. And they are real people, they're not just a figment of my imagination that I email back and forth.
Even after 20 years, you're still learning a few new faces to go with names.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
always
that makes
new
me
people.
feel better because there's still quite a few that I'm like, I think I know that guy, but
Yeah, and it's great to get to meet new people. It's great to see old friends, just walking back and forth, catching up with people, a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there. People that you only see once a year at a convention.
Right.
I mean, some people I see at board meetings and committee meetings, so I get to see them 2 or 3 times a year. But there's a lot of people, it's a once a year thing.
The strange thing is, occasionally in a couple different industries that we serve, you might see somebody that you're used to seeing here, but you might be just going through an airport and then you see them and then like maybe it's just my brain. It's like sometimes you just like it's almost too much information or too much of a disconnect. It's like, why is that? Like your mind about to explode, if you see them outside because you don't see them that often.
Right. They don't belong in this place. That's not where I see them. I only see them in the exhibit hall. What are they doing in the airport?
Right. Yeah. everything can go bad from there. As far as, then you're trying to like, okay, well, what was her name? Because again, sometimes, these
Right.
people,
Yeah.
but that's the reason, making it a consistent venture is really where the payoff, just coming in, dropping in for a year or two is, I mean, you can get payoff. We were talking to, again with Maria and Melissa about, what you guys have strove for, whatever that word is. But you guys have pushed forward to, try to make new members maybe get more bang or for the buck or the low-hanging fruit to say, this is what you can grab onto really quickly.
Well, there's a cost to being part of the association. There's a cost to coming to a trade show like this. It's not just the money, but it's also the time out of the office and all the other things that go with it. So you want them to come and get something out of a convention. You want them to learn, you want them to network, you want them to make connections that hopefully help them in their business to justify coming to this and being part of an association.
Yeah. Well, I'm all out of questions. Is there anything else that you'd like to share that you just, is up top of mind?
Not really. I mean, I think it's exciting you guys will be able to do a podcast live. I've really enjoyed listening to the podcasts. Usually on the drive to an airport, I'll kick one on and listen to it for the hour drive to the airport. And so it's nice to hear what's going on. And you've had some great guests and interviewed some fun people, and just it's a neat way to learn about different people in the industry.
Well, the good thing about, we have a lot of firsts. I've talked about that a couple of times. So this is, obviously our first time that we've been here. We were, we came to the show last year and, we did a couple little side cuts and a couple other little things, but, we were just getting off the ground. But it's been well received. We've also talked about the different multimedia platforms of being able to get the word out about not only about IPIA, but the true endeavor of ISIS food and what you guys are doing. So I truly appreciate your leadership over the year and what you continue to do for the industry. I know not only your company, your family, and you carry that legacy forward of being a leader in the industry. So those type of legacies are I don't want to say undervalued, but I think sometimes maybe underappreciated. But it does not fall flat with me, and I know with Jeff. And
It takes more than one person to make it all happen. It takes a huge team, and thank you for letting Jeff be part of that as well. Coming to committee meetings and voicing an opinion and just making sure we all work together for the betterment of the industry.
True sacrifice for Jeff to have to come out to California.
It's been a real sacrifice.
Super tough.
I mean, California was tough. Lake Tahoe was tough. I mean, the things we do for our industry, it's a lot of sacrifice.
That's right. Well, you got to have your cowboy hats. You're not going to be able. He's got flip flops on right now. So next year in Nashville, you're going to have to, suit up and be ready to go as a
step it up
cowboy.
again.
So that's right.
Thanks for taking the time today, Jarrod.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Jarrod.
it.
Not a problem. Thanks, guys.